we're back. This has Been There, Watch That. I'm Justin. I'm here with Dave and Joe, and
Woohoo!
we review movies. Thinking maybe reviewing a TV show at some point, but we haven't got around to that. It's been all movies so far.
TV
And
shows. Come on now.
we've got a website, beentherewatchthat.com. It's got all sorts of good stuff on that, and Joe maintains that, does a great job for us. And social media, if you want to reach out to us on there, we're always open to any sort of recommendations. Just hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Just type in BTWT Pod. So Dave's been out for a little bit on traveling the country, but now we're back in the studio. So welcome back, Dave.
We're back. I'm glad to be back. I missed it.
So
Ocean's 11 is the movie this time. Joe's pick.
Joe's pick.
I'm gonna say, in all your travels in the last couple of weeks, Dave, was there any trips to Vegas? Did this movie inspire you to make a road trip to Vegas in all your travels?
No, I passed several casinos, but I'm not a gambler.
Okay.
So
Didn't
no.
make you want to rob a casino?
No. No,
Did you,
I don't
watch
have
any-
that skill set, nor do I have that team, nor do I have that experience. So, no, fun movie watch, but yeah, it didn't relate to my personal life at all.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say you must not have because you came back.
Yeah.
So.
Did you watch
This
any
is true.
other movies while you were on the road?
Yes. We watched nothing new, but I was gonna say something on Netflix. I can't even remember.
Yeah, the one before this was Snatch from 2000 at one point. In the conversation, we were like, it's kind of got a similar sort of
Yeah,
vibe in some ways. to
schemes
Ocean's
behind the
11.
scenes.
Yeah, we're wondering, did one bar from the other, and turns out Ocean's 11 came out a year after Snatch.
Yes.
That was
Really?
the timing on that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that old.
I didn't either. December 7th, 2001 was when Ocean's 11 hit theaters.
It's 19 years old.
Yeah, it's getting ready to hit the 20-year anniversary.
That is unreal.
Yeah, I thought Matt Damon looked quite young. in
Yeah,
this.
yeah. That makes sense.
I kind of, in my head, I pictured
Casey
an older Matt
Affleck.
Damon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
George Clooney looked about
like,
the same.
yeah, like George Clooney.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's always had the kind of salt pepper
Yep.
look. Okay.
Yeah, star-studded cast for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Run it down for us, Joe.
All right, so you guys ready for a synopsis and cast
You
call?
betcha.
All
Yeah.
right. So the synopsis is Danny Ocean wants to score the biggest heist in history. He combines an 11-member team including Frank Catton, Rusty Ryan, and Linus Caldwell. Their target, the Bellagio, the Mirage, and the MGM Grand. All casinos owned by Terry Benedict. It's not going to be easy as they plan to get in secretly and out with $150 million. So the cast on this one, movie stars George Clooney as Danny Ocean, and George Clooney's also been in Old Brother Where Art Thou, ER, and this is one I forgot about. Batman and Robin. George Clooney has been one of the Batmans, and a little trivia here. George Clooney's one of his early starts was back in the 80s, early 90s with Roseanne. A lot of people don't remember that. He was in the first couple seasons of Roseanne.
Really?
He was Booker. He was the foreman at Wellman Plastics where Roseanne worked.
When was that?
Back let me see when Roseanne was first released.
90s?
The first episode aired in
Late 80s.
1988.
Oh, there you go.
Let me see if I can find a picture of him as Booker. I mean, it doesn't even.
Was he on like a hospital drama or something as well?
Yeah, I think General Hospital is like a soap opera. Okay, there's George Clooney as
Oh
Booker.
my gosh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Not salt and pepper there.
no.
Wow.
Big hair.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people, and it's one of those, I didn't know that either until you go back and look. It's like, oh wow, that was George Clooney before he was George Clooney. So,
Mhm.
so a little bonus trivia there. And then Brad Pitt's also in it. He plays Rusty Ryan. He was in He's known for Mr. and Mrs. Smith and Moneyball. Julia Roberts plays Tess Ocean. She's known for Pretty Woman, Aaron Brockovich, and My Best Friend's Wedding. Matt Damon plays Linus Caldwell, and Matt Damon also starred in Ford vs. Ferrari, which you can find in our archives, Good Will Hunting, and The Martian. Bernie Mac, one of my favorite comedians, plays Frank Catton. He starred in The Bernie Mac Show, Guess Who, and Charlie's Angels Full Throttle. Scott Kane played Turk Malloy. He was in Gone in 60 Seconds and Varsity Blues. And that's some of the who's who on Ocean's 11.
Really, it's a star-studded cast except for the Chinese actor who's the contortionist and acrobat. And
Yes.
I believe these are the only films he's
Been in?
been in.
Really?
Otherwise, he's just a regular guy.
And here's what's crazy. The stars that turned down these roles.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Mark Wahlberg, the Owen and Luke Wilson turned down the roles. To be in the Royal Tenenbaums. What are they thinking?
Yeah, I've never seen that movie.
It's horrible.
So
I'm surprised it's not on your list, Joe.
Another big name is Don Cheadle.
Yeah, and I read somewhere that he said to take his name off of it because some of the stuff that happened.
Yeah, it's not on IMDb. They don't even list him.
okay, yeah. So he was not credited in the first. Because here's what happened. He wanted his name on the post at the top of the poster with George Clooney and all them in the first one. They wouldn't do it. So he said, if I can't be at the top, don't credit me at all.
Really?
But yet they mended fences and went ahead and credited him for the second and the third movie.
And Mark Wahlberg was going to be Linus, but Matt Damon got it, and he decided to do the classic remake of Planet of the Apes instead.
And Danny Glover turned down the role of Frank.
I think that was a good choice, though. I mean, I think this movie worked out the way it should.
Yeah, it's one of those, seen as it played out, it's hard to think of anybody else in those roles, because I think I even seen at one point Bruce Willis.
Yeah, Bruce Willis was supposed to be in it, but he didn't want to be part of the gang. He wanted the main role. They were already taken.
I was going to say, if they made him the role of like Danny Ocean, I think that would have gave it the stigma of Die Hard. And I'm not bashing Bruce Willis or any of his work, but I think that if they would have put him in the role of Danny Ocean, that would have kind of gave it that Die Hard stigma, and they would have had to take it down a different path.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I liked Bernie Mac in this movie. I thought he was.
Oh, he did great.
Stuff, so it's hard to picture somebody else in that role too.
Yeah, just right there at the beginning, I got tickled as soon as Danny sits down and goes, "Hello, Frank," and he goes, My name's Ramon. You can see it right here on my name tag."
You must be mistaken.
Yeah.
He kind of hints like, "Oh, we're gonna meet somewhere later," but he says it in a way that keeps it kind of secretive. Like, "Hey, you might want to try this other place over at the MGM or wherever he told him to go."
Yeah.
"Have a nice day, sir." It's like, "You too, Ramon."
Yeah. All tricky, even from the very beginning.
Yeah. Yes.
Professionals.
Yes. The budget for this film was an estimated $85 million. And gross U.S. and Canada was $183 million, and worldwide was $450 million on this one movie.
Jeez.
Not a bad return on investment.
Yeah, you can see why they keep coming back to the well. Then we mentioned that it's kind of not only do you get the big names, but you get them coming back for sequels too.
Yeah, and here's what's crazy is the entire cast worked for less than their usual salaries to bring the budget down for this movie. So you have the star-studded cast. Everybody agrees to work cheaper than what their normal rate is, but yet turn out such a blockbuster film.
Yeah. It's really crazy. I mean, I understand, and I don't blame them a bit, but it definitely worked out in their favor.
Yes.
I mean, Ocean's 11, 12, and 13, and now Ocean's 8 are all just, powerhouse films.
Yeah, 12 and 13 are just as surprising as entertaining as the first one. Because a lot of these movies, when you start doing sequels, they start get watered down and they start get repetitive and just dumb. But each of them on their own can stand completely on their own. And you don't have that stigma of, another sequel.
Yeah, I need to watch those again. I'm sure I've seen them, but I'm not anywhere near as familiar with those as I am this one. Like I was telling Dave, I've probably seen this one 5 times. So definitely knew the storyline, but the other two I would definitely want to go back and watch.
I've watched all 3 of them several times, and the other two are just as good as the first one.
Yeah. Well, I gotta say, you picked a very safe pick.
Well, now I wasn't going for safe. I was going on since we watched Snatch. It kept reminding me of Ocean's 11, so I was like, I've got to go that route. So here's a little a piece of information I thought was funny. So George Clooney, when he sent Julia Roberts the script, and he sent it with a $20 bill, and he said, "I hear you're getting 20 a picture now."
Yeah.
And of course, this was a joke referencing Julia Roberts was highest paid actress at the time at $20 million per movie.
Yeah.
So he sent her the script with the $20 bill and said, "Here, I hear you do it for 20 now."
Yeah.
Little shenanigans right off the bat.
Yeah.
I thought the cast I thought was nailed right on the money. Eddie Jemison as Livingston Dale, and I liked it when the FBI guy, when you first get introduced to him, calls him Radio Shack.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, "Pipe down, Radio Shack." Yeah. He's like, "Don't touch that."
Yeah.
He's like kind of a spaz of a guy.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
sweating and very nervous about stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say, "How's his nerves? Just as good as ever."
Yeah.
So yeah, not bad. Not as good as ever.
And,
yeah, he played that character to the T.
And Andy Garcia, he played the uptight, businessman.
The villain, kind of, yeah.
And Casey and Scott playing the brothers. I thought those two were entertaining.
Oh
my gosh! I mean, just
and nothing against Luke Wilson and Owen Wilson. They're great actors in their own and thing, but I just don't think they could have pulled this one off.
Yeah.
I mean, this, like we keep saying,
they seem a little too relaxed to be these two brothers.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because just them being bored when it introduces them, they're out Utah at the racetrack, and they're sitting there, obviously bored.
Right.
And, I don't see Luke and Owen Wilson having that intensity.
No. And it's one of those, like we keep saying, it's cast so well.
Yeah.
I literally cannot see anybody else. Because, there's some movies that we watch and go, okay, yeah, this person did good, but, it would make it great if we put this person in there. This is one movie, I think it would ruin it if you took any piece of the puzzle out.
And even, the part where they're playing cards in the back room with the high-name actors, and they bring in Topher Grace, Josh Jackson. Those guys are in there, where Brad Pitt's teaching them to play poker.
Yeah.
They played it up great.
Yes.
Even for small cameos.
Yeah.
They played it up great.
Yeah, because that's what's funny is when Rusty's in there playing with and they even kind of winking a nod to the audience going, "Hey, I'm playing with these teen idols," and they really were at the time.
Yeah, they were, yeah.
Yeah. You had Holly Marie Combs from Charmed, Topher Grace from That 70s Show, Joshua Jackson from Dawson's Creek, Barry Watson from Seventh Heaven, and Shane West from Once and Again. I mean, these were the teen idol, teen heartthrobs of that time.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a wink in the nod of the audience, like, yeah, we got these people, and they're just sitting here in the background.
Yeah, that just makes me think of something I didn't think of and had never thought of before. I wonder, Danny Ocean, George Clooney's character, comes in while Russ steps out. So he comes back, and Danny's sitting there at the poker table where he's supposed to be. He's basically teaching these actors how to play poker that are terrible.
Yeah.
And he plays it as if, like, he's trying to take Clooney's money, and he's kind of telling them, I don't think he has anything.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking now, like, they probably were just having fun and taking all those guys' money. Like,
oh, yeah, he definitely set Danny up with pocket money.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Free to do what you want. They played him, yeah.
Because he went all in and had, like, 4 nines or whatever, and just took all those guys' money.
Yeah, and they didn't know any better. They thought, another lesson to be learned. I liked it when they go outside afterwards, and you see the teenage, what'd you call them? Heartthrobs?
The teen heartthrobs, yeah.
Yeah, they walk out and they're like, "Oh, the paparazzi's got us. These regular people got it. Yeah, let me, And the guy throws his hands up and he's like, "Oh, let me sign some autographs. You recognize me." But they're obviously going there to get recognized. Just feeding on that little bit of a glamour deal. But
Right.
interesting part. Okay. Huh. So, any poignant parts stand out to either of you? And Justin and I talked a little bit before this. We're both like, we've seen this a lot. It's on TV a lot. It's a very 19 years old. It's a very standout movie with a big list of actors and actresses. Any parts catch you?
Julia Roberts' character was good and had a lot of scenes that were kind of poignant, and she kind of brought a little bit of heart to the movie. Didn't make it totally just a crime movie, you know.
Yeah. Doing an interesting romantic twist.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought she played it up well. Like, she truly gave off the vibe she was not going back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Joe? How many times have you seen it?
Oh, I've seen. I don't.
I mean, a lot or a little?
A lot.
Okay. Anything on this go around catch your attention?
Not really. I mean, just. I think the one of the big things is just how much detail they put into the whole scheme. Because I mean, you watch and go, yeah, they put a lot of work into it, but when you actually sit down and the minor detail of they recreated the exact vault just to get the recorded footage, that's one thing I completely forgot about.
Well, here's one thing I noticed.
Okay.
They said it's in 3 weeks from their initial meeting. I don't think there's any way a group of 11 people could build all that, do all that, recon all that in 3 weeks.
Yeah, I would.
That's what caught me. I was like, wait a minute, did he say 3 weeks?
Okay, yeah.
And I watched it again. I was like, there is no stinking way.
Okay, yeah, I watched that too, and that did kind of trigger me. It's like, really, you're able to do all this in 3 weeks?
Because I mean, you think that's only 21 days to mark the habits of Benedict, figure out all the names of everything you're doing, and arrange it all, build the vault.
Yeah.
Track down all the cameras and the videos and all that jazz. Work up a plan, get the police uniforms and the SWAT truck, and, you know, rent a warehouse that just happens to be a block away. That's a lot of stuff to do.
True.
So that's the one part I didn't buy.
Yeah, that one kind of makes it hard, kind of a hard stretch to.
Yeah. But, I mean, you know, just one of those things that I just happened to catch this time.
Yeah.
And before I didn't realize it. Or didn't care, didn't notice. Huh. Is there any downsides to any of it that you watch? You're like, yeah, they could have done without that, or any parts that was shoddy or maybe didn't match up?
Honestly, I didn't see anything personally that made me go do an eye roll. It's like, well, we could have done without that.
Huh.
Yeah, that's kind of one of my takeaways was, yeah, nothing that really jumped out to me, which I was happy about, but yeah, nothing that was
They didn't put anything in there for just filler. It was all, basically everything that was shown was to keep you right in the story. Or there wasn't like, oh, well, we need an extra couple minutes of footage just to fill out the film. Let's just throw this in here. It all kind of was cut and tight and what needed to be.
Yeah, and what's funny is even the little stuff, like Rusty, Brad Pitt's character, is always eating in every scene almost.
I never noticed that.
Yeah, he's eating something.
Yeah.
It's funny
I think
how.
he's done that in some other movies too. He's always snacking on something.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy.
Now, I did see where the Bellagio actually closed their valet parking down to help make the movie, to the point even the high rollers had to use the parking garage.
Really?
Yeah, so so this must have been really, it would have been fun to sit in been a fly on the wall in some of these board meetings at the Bellagio that they're saying, hey, we need to shut down everything just for this movie crew to come in. And they're saying, like, you know, we can't, what about our high rollers? No, they get the same treatment as everybody else. Do you know what kind, I mean, that's just mind-blowing.
Yeah.
That the millions of dollars that they come in a day's time that they're telling the people that drop, you know, $5,000-$10,000 on one bet, saying, no, y'all got to park with everybody else. Yeah, I appreciate that $5,000 every time you roll the dice, but nope, you got to park with the same guy that puts $10 down.
Yeah.
Maybe one thing that kind of caught my eye was, you know, the two brothers. It seemed like they were going in and out of the casino in like different outfits and stuff.
Yeah, all the time.
And it kind of struck me that maybe that wasn't the smartest way to play it, and that maybe someone would notice, hey, there's those two guys, now they're dressed totally different, what's going on? Might have raised some eyebrows.
Yeah.
But then there's the whole part where Frank, Matt Damon's character, goes in pretending to be from the Nevada Gaming Commission and says, and he brings the main guy, what's the guy that owns the casino, Benedict. He brings him in saying, oh, you've been employing ex-con this whole time.
Yeah.
I thought that was a little funny because that just seemed like that was something that you wouldn't need the boss of the whole
Yeah, the whole thing.
casino to
Yeah.
come in on. But maybe that was a little unrealistic that you'd get Benedict to like go in this back room just to listen to this guy say, "Oh, one of your employees has, you know,
Yeah, you've been employing an ex-con this whole time.
was using a fake name and all that stuff." But yeah, those are a couple things I kind of noticed, but it wasn't like anything that was so blatant that it wasn't totally unbelievable or anything. But
Now, one thing when I was watching that I was curious on is when Ruben claims that no one has ever successfully robbed a Vegas casino. First off, I had to laugh when they played the '80s bit of when they shoot the guy in the play, "Take My Breath Away." Oh, I laughed.
Yeah. Isn't that good?
Yes.
The music person did a good job.
Yeah, just that little clip just nailed it. But doing my research last night, Ruben claims no one had pulled off a successful heist.
Yep.
But casino robberies, while relatively uncommon and very dangerous due to the presence of armed guards, happen several times a year and have since the early days of Vegas gambling. In 1992, the Stardust was robbed of more than $500,000 in cash and chips, and it was several hours before casino staff could pinpoint him as the culprit. He was never caught, and his whereabouts to the date are still unknown.
so wait, they know the guy's actual name, or they just have some
I didn't
security cam footage of the guy?
Yeah, I couldn't find any more information, but it's like so there is one guy out of all this that was actually able to take a substantial amount of money out of all this.
And what year did you say that was?
92.
Yeah.
Wow. This film accumulated more than 450 million worldwide.
That's just crazy, and that's just the first film.
Yeah, and it's the fifth highest grossing film of 2001.
Wow.
Interesting. So there's a couple of threequels. Spider-Man 3, Shrek the Third, Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, Bourne Ultimatum, and Rush Hour 3.
Spider-Man 3 I would have been happy without. I loved the first two. The third one that was nauseating. Because I remember when it came out, my buddy went and seen it, and I asked him, I said, "How is it?" He said, "Don't go." He said, "Don't waste your time." I said, "Okay." So I waited till it got on DVD, and I got it. I think I bought it used at Movie Gallery. Now there's a throwback. And I bought it and watched it, and I was like, I said, "You was right." He said, "I told you." He said, "But you wouldn't listen." I said, "Well," I said, "I thought there might have been something good out of it." He said, "Yeah, the best part was when the credits rolled."
Oh gosh, really?
Yes.
So the pinch, which is used by Basher to cause the power to go off, it's based on a real-life device called the Z pinch. It uses a magnetic field to create bursts of energy.
Yeah, that magnetic pulse.
Yeah, the Z pinch is far too large to fit in the back of a van, and it wouldn't be able to produce enough energy to knock out all of Las Vegas.
There you go.
Interesting concept, though.
Yeah, that whole scene, it seemed like they were able to go steal that thing a little bit too easily, too.
Yeah. Well, what I was curious on is, they've talked about all the security in place, even up to and including, like, they mentioned the groundhog couldn't, dig and burrow through there without them knowing it.
Mm-hmm.
I know it would never happen, but I would love to see what all kind of security they had in place. Like, did they really have like ground sensors to see what's going on underground? And I would love to see all the security and bells and whistles they have in place on something like that.
Yeah. I mean, with all the money they got to house there, I'm sure it's amazing security.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say a good solid pick, Joe. I'd say a safe pick. So,
maybe it should be mentioned there was a 1960 version.
Yeah, version of this. Yeah.
Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr.
The original Rat Pack.
And I played just like a little clip of it the other
last
day.
week.
Joe and
Yeah.
I watched a little bit of it, and I don't think I'll ever be watching that.
Yeah, Dave, please don't put us through that.
Yeah,
No worries.
it was a little too dated.
No worries.
Yeah, like Justin and I were looking at each other during the preview, just the preview of it, and like, yeah, there's no possible way that we could ever watch that.
Yeah.
So, but what I can't wrap my head around was apparently somebody somewhere along the way thought that was a good movie for them to do a remake.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of those occasions where the remake is way better than the original.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times they'll screw it up on a remake and
Yep.
make you regret it. But I think this is one of the few that the remake completely overshot what the original was.
Yeah. You know, and it's neat. Julia Roberts was coming off of Academy Award Best Actress for her work in Erin Brockovich, which is also directed by Soderbergh.
Now,
And-
have you guys seen that movie?
Yeah.
Is it good?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I've always heard good things about it, but I've
Yeah.
never watched
Yeah,
it.
it's really good. And but more to the point, they listed her in the credits as and introducing Julia Roberts as Tess.
I saw that. That was weird.
Yeah.
Introducing her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess from what I read, George Clooney and them all took turns just messing with Julia Roberts and playing pranks on her the whole time this movie was filmed. So that sounds like just something, just one last gotcha. That's kind of the best.
Yeah,
longest run.
little carrots stuck in there.
Yeah.
It's interesting. There's been a couple other films like Logan's Lucky. You guys seen that? It's got Channing Tatum in it and a couple other big actors and actresses. Yeah, The Heist. Everybody's always, hey, The Heist. That's the thing.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of movies out there. The Italian Job, and I don't know. The list goes on and on. Interesting to see, though. Snatch was very similar, which kind of led us down this road. So I'm curious, not to jump too far ahead, but
Okay.
I'm curious to see what comes off the list for the next movie.
Yeah, because our next option is our next week's
a fan
pick
choice,
is,
right?
Yeah, an online submission. So, for those of you who don't know, we also accept online submissions. So please send us your online submissions. We currently have, I'm looking at the spreadsheet, 127 items, but we've already watched one off of the list, so we're down to 126 movies. So we're running low.
Mm-hmm.
But send us your picks and we'll add them to the list.
Yeah. So, no surprises in this movie, as we've all seen it several times. Solid cast, solid premise for the most part. How do you can't really mess it up. And they even did, 2 other sequels to it or 4 if you count Ocean's 8.
Right.
That all were, I'd say at least solidly stable.
And honestly, even for it being 20 years, almost 20 years old,
Yeah.
I didn't find myself. I mean, it's one of those I never gave it a thought of, like, from a technology side.
Yeah.
A lot of these times, you watch a movie and just laugh at the old technology scene in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
background. But even the I mean, yeah, they had all flip phones, but even that, I didn't find myself going, boy, that's dated. This movie didn't hold up very good over time, but just even little things like the cell phone thing. I mean, I wasn't like, oh, geez, this is an old movie. I mean,
The only thing that might give it away is like the cell phone that George Clooney slipped into Julia Roberts' pocket.
Right.
Had the little antenna.
Yeah.
right.
Maybe.
Yeah, but that's it. I mean, even then, I didn't catch myself going, oh, boy, there's old technology.
Yeah. I mean, because for a burner phone,
right.
and then they're bringing back the razors and the flip phones anyway.
Right. Yeah, so it wasn't too far-fetched. It wasn't. It's aged well. I'll put it that way.
The scenes where the boxing match is going, couldn't quite tell if were they using like some footage from the actual fight mixed in with like, I don't know. It seemed like maybe that was not totally staged, that they were using some real fight footage and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I wondered the same thing, if that was like an actual fight going on or a staged fight.
No,
or
it was staged. Those two, Lennox Lewis would not have boxed against that guy.
Okay.
No, I think he boxed against his older brother, and that I saw where they had 2,000 extras. That was one of their hard scenes to do because they had to hire 2,000 extras to come in there to do those scenes.
Right.
Yeah.
But now how?
Looked pretty convincing. I was like, "Whoa, is this a real fight?"
Yeah, because I wondered the same thing. It's like, okay, are they cutting because they edited it so well that you couldn't tell
Yeah.
what was real and what was Memorex.
Well, that's it. This whole movie's quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how cool would it have been to be one of those extras? One, getting paid. Two, sitting there watching, just knowing that you're in a movie with this star-studded cast.
Yeah. I mean, shoot. It's kind of like The Outsiders. How do you go wrong when you bring in that talent?
True.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, and I think Clooney does a good job of anchoring the whole thing and kind of giving it a bit of timelessness so you can watch it 20 years later and he's still just a character that isn't gonna like age poorly or like not come across as very watchable 20 years later. He's just kind of got that classic actor swag to him. That
with such star-studded cast, there wasn't one person that was overbearing over the others. Everybody kind of, they had their parts, but you didn't feel, oh, this is a George Clooney film.
Right,
this is a Julia Roberts film. No, this movie has Julia Roberts, George Clooney, Brad Pitt. This wasn't like one person did not stand out in front of everybody else.
Yeah, I agree. And that's what made it nice. It didn't seem like there was any posturing for people to take on roles just because they were important.
Right.
It seemed like a well evenly distributed spotlight.
Yes.
Yeah, like even the two brothers, for Casey and the Con, I won't say kid.
Yeah.
20 years ago, he's a kid. But, even for them to have a minor role, they still had big spotlights.
Yes.
Funny parts.
Yeah. There's that whole scene where Bernie Mac character is in the dealership talking with the guy buying the vans, and you look out the window.
Yeah, and they're out there bouncing on the suspension end.
Yeah.
So just little stuff like that gives some nice chuckles throughout. Which is
Yeah.
Yeah, when I seen that, I'm thinking, why are you, as the dealership owner, letting these two knuckleheads be out here just basically trying to tear up your inventory, jumping up and down and bouncing around testing shocks? It's like, no.
Yeah.
That whole scene that's one I remembered was funny when I watched it the first time when he's shaking that car dealer's
hand,
and he says, he starts at 18,000 for the van, then he's like, maybe, you know what, I think if you pay cash, I could go to 17. He like,
16.
Squeezes his hand, he's like, 16. He's like, oh, you do that for me?
Yeah.
Awkward conversation about hand lotion.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Good.
It had those little tidbits.
Yeah.
So well written.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, well.
Solid pick.
Yeah. Time for the mop bucket throwout. See, I kind of feel like this is a shaded deal because this movie is already so popular, so well known. It's hard to go wrong on this one. Like, it's one of those movies I feel like if I caught it on TV, if I was halfway through, 3/4 the way through, or just the beginning, I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, go watch it all the way through.
Yeah, or just, pick up right where I left off,
right,
or wherever it happened to be, and I'd be okay with watching it.
Right.
Just because you don't have to see the beginning to enjoy the end.
Right.
And vice versa.
So this
very crafty movie.
So since this was my pick, I'm going to go last.
Oh, okay.
And let you guys go first.
Give me a large.
Yeah, I'd say overflowing large for me.
Yeah.
Pretty
I've
easy.
seen it so many times, so it's a little difficult for me to, because I know my perception of it has changed a little bit over the years.
Yeah, that's a great point.
When I first saw it, I was like, oh man, this is awesome.
Yeah,
and now I'm kind of like, this is good, this is very solid, but I'm not over the moon about it.
I'd agree wholeheartedly. If this is the first time, I'd probably be a mop bucket, but since I've seen it so much and it's so ingrained in my memory with how it goes down, and it's an overflowing at large.
Yeah.
Pretty easy. But yeah. Joseph?
I gotta be in the same boat as you guys. It's gonna be an overflowing large. So this is gonna be a certified large for us.
Yeah.
So
this might be the first time we all agreed on something.
It's one of the rare
well,
cases.
it's no Howard the Duck by any means, but
yeah, it's not a cult classic like that, but
yeah, the cast is just
it's too hard to beat that.
Yeah, it's just high powered.
Now, unlike Mad Max, this would be one movie series that I would be willing to, at some point watch the second and third one, and not feel guilty of making you guys sit through that.
I agree. Yeah, second and third's not bad at all.
Yeah.
That could be something where maybe we don't dedicate a whole episode to it, but maybe tag it on at the end of some of the other episodes, like, oh, by the way,
Yeah.
what'd you think of the
There's a lot of good movies out there. We
13
don't need to
or
rehash
14?
it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
the what?
There's a lot of good movies out there. I got a whole list of like 30 movies here still to get to at some
Well,
point.
if I watch 13 or 14, though, I'll throw that in randomly. That hey,
Yeah.
by the way, I liked it, or I
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you already have your next movie picked out, Justin?
Nope.
Really?
I've only had 4 weeks to decide.
Yeah, I was just curious. So we're
Yeah.
pulling off the list.
Yeah, so next week is going to be our online submission. So I have the spreadsheet pulled up in front of me, gentlemen. So how do we want to?
Throw out what you're
Yeah,
interested in.
throw out some names. Let's
Okay.
spitball a little bit here.
Okay. Well, I'm going to start reading from the top of the list here,
Oh,
and we'll
boy.
just go through. Brazil, They Live, North by Northwest, Balto, The Quiet Man, Life of Brian, Search for the Holy Grail, Army of Darkness, Bubba Hotep, Rear Window, Swing Time, L.A. Confidential.
That one kind of jumps out at me a little bit.
Which one?
L.A. Confidential.
Okay.
I don't know why. I don't know that I ever saw it.
I haven't. Dave, have you seen L.A. Confidential?
I think so.
With,
Okay.
Let me go look and see.
Okay. Adventures of Baron Munchausen, A Boy and His Dog, Lack of Respect, Wrong Attitude, Failure to Obey Authority, Bringing Him Up Baby, The Man Who Came to Dinner, Gene Cockatoo's Beauty and the Beast, The Man Who Knew Too Little, Big Trouble in Little China, Disney's Baby, The Great Outdoors, Ghostbusters 2, The Bloodsport, Life as a House, any of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies, Three Ninjas, What About Bob, Groundhog Day, Stripes.
Well, what is there a certain vibe you guys are feeling for the next one? That
LA
might be the way it
Confidential
starts.
is more of like a corruption police one, but that's very close to what we've been watching.
Yeah, if we want to change gears a little bit and do something totally different, sort of.
Well, or I can, instead of going through reading the rest of these, how about I use a random number generator and we'll see what movie's on that number and
There we
can
go.
decide
I
from
like
there.
it.
Okay.
I mean, Stripes is a classic. Bill Murray.
Mm-hmm.
What About Bob's always funny. I've seen him.
Okay, so 1 to 127.
Yeah, let's roll the dice and see what it comes up with.
Now, if we don't like it, we can always
Yeah.
hit it
Do it again. Yeah.
Okay, so 115 is Friday. That's Ice Cube.
Yeah. That's been worn out.
Okay.
But ironically enough, I've seen a lot about it here lately. Even though it's a very old movie.
Okay,
It's like this whole list leans kind of older movies for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this one, but Mom and Dad.
Mom and Dad. I don't know about that.
2017, Mom and Dad.
Oh, it stars Nicolas Cage.
I've never even heard of it.
A teenage girl and her little brother try to survive a wild 24-hour during which a mass hysteria of unknown origins causes parents to turn violently on their own children. Ooh. Well, no wonder it budgeted for $4 million and box office a hit 165,000.
Yeah, that one looks a little crazy.
That might be why we never heard of that one.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. I don't know.
All right, what else?
Do it again.
Oh,
Do it again. Hit the button.
39. Diva.
Do it again. Hit the button.
2. They Live.
Hit the button.
65. Cabaret.
I assumed you already hit the button.
I'm looking it up here. It's a 1972 movie.
Yeah, that's an old one. That's
Okay.
about like show business.
67. My Chauffeur.
Never heard that one either.
All right, let's look it up.
1986.
I tried to spell chauffeur. No way.
I don't know about that one. Hit it again.
Yeah, keep hitting that thing.
90. Okay. Legally Blonde.
Oh my god. What are we?
Balto. Number 4 is Balto.
Balto.
Balto. Oh, Good Night of Living. It's a kid cartoon movie.
We're gonna have to get a better fan submitted list here.
Well, these were just message boards I went on. So
Okay.
Army of Darkness. Let me look this one up.
I've seen that one.
1992.
It's kind of a silly movie.
Okay, so hit it again is what you're saying. 95.
Army of Darkness.
Okay, 95 was Goodfellas.
I'm still interested in watching The Gentleman, if you guys have any interest in that. I know it's not my pick currently, but we wanted to.
I've not seen Goodfellas. Is Goodfellas any good?
I don't know. I'm still reading about My Chauffeur.
Okay. Because Goodfellas has Joe Pesci in it.
Yeah, I think it's a mobster movie.
Yeah, it's a
right?
mobster movie, yeah. Okay, so let's go 124. The Big Lebowski. Not a John Goodman film? No. Jeff Bridges.
Oh yeah, Big Lebowski's a old school cult classic.
Yeah.
You guys seen it?
No.
Yep.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find it online.
My Cousin Vinny.
Oh man, that one's one of the ones that's on my list. And
Devil Wears Prada.
okay, now The Big Lebowski is on Amazon Prime.
Do the Big Lebowski. What do you think, Justin?
Yeah, it might fall a little bit into that category of ones I've seen so many times that I'm
Okay.
gonna not
Well,
be very.
Roll the dice one more
surprised by
time, and we can always come back to that one.
Okay, so we have a confirmed possibility of a definite maybe.
Yeah.
31. I feel like a bingo caller here. Okay, 31 is What About Bob? Bill Murray.
Have you guys seen it,
I have not,
Justin?
No.
and I have it.
Okay.
So you want to do What About Bob?
Yeah, let's do What About Bob?
All right. Let me see where. Let's do this real quick.
You know, I remember always seeing this. I'd be like walking around in the backstage looking at their VHSs and stuff. And this one, I remember seeing that VHS box
Yes.
image and being like, "What the heck is that?" And never saw it. All right. What About Bob? 1991.
Yeah.
This. I assume will be a comedy. So
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Switching gears. I like it.
Bill Murray,
Get off the crime thing. for a
Richard
little bit.
Dreyfuss.
All right.
There's lots of good quotes to get from this movie.
Oh, good. Perfect.
All right.
Cena has talked about What About Bob, but I have never seen it. So she's going to be excited on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we're all set for next week.
So
and
What About Bob? So, okay, so Justin, I know you said you didn't have your pick, but do you have anything? Are you leaning towards
Well,
anything, or?
I was kind of had my eye on The Gentleman, the Matthew McConaughey movie, and I know we tried to look it up, and the only way to do it was you had to buy it for like $20. But I think that's changed since. So
Okay.
I'll look into that. I'm thinking maybe I'll screen whatever I pick. I'm not gonna shoot from the hip on the next one. I'm gonna screen it a little bit.
No, come on. I kind of think one of the good parts of this, though, is just the fact that, you know, some of the movies are from the hip, and you really don't know what's going to happen.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like, even the, what was the one? Ultimate Comedy, the best comedy ever?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
The General.
Yeah.
In general, I mean, as much as that was a flop, that really gave me some good introspective,
Yeah.
Yes.
you know, where comedies come from, and,
Right.
I mean, I didn't mind it. Not that it was a good movie, and I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but I'm just saying, you know, it was an experience.
Yeah, you could say that. That's one thing you could say about it. Definitely was an experience.
I mean, even Howard the Duck, and Joe, I'm not giving you any credit here whatsoever for being a good movie, but Howard the Duck, seeing Leah Thompson just flop lines like crazy is something that, I'll have with me forever.
I'm telling you, I'm going to get you guys some Howard the Duck memorabilia. Just that one little extra dig.
That is mean.
Well, you should have been. You should have appreciate. There was one episode I was on eBay looking up Howard the Duck memorabilia, and I was actually bidding on some Howard the Duck comic books for you guys while we was recording.
That's nice of you.
I know, wasn't it?
Oh gosh, really?
Well, we all done. You want to take us home, Joe?
All right. So for all of our shows and reviews and is it comical nonsense or what? That's how we want to reference some of our shenanigans.
Yeah. Deep insights.
Yeah. For all of our news and information and deep insights, be sure to visit our website at beentherewatchthat.com. Follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at BTWTPod for all that. And be sure to subscribe to the podcast, Been There, Watch That. All of our shows are hosted by Anchor.fm.
What is it all about, Bob?
Yes,
What about
Bob?
Bob? What about Bob?
Yes,
Watch
sir.
that and tune in next week.
There you go.
Howard the Duck. That's all I'm saying. I'm just going to point out, I'm the only person here that hasn't thrown out a flop yet. And I'm planning on keeping
Mad
it right
Max.
there. No, that was Justin's deal.
No.
Yes, it was.
For both of them?
You ask anybody and they'll tell you.
For both of them.
Yeah, that was Justin's. I was trying to save Justin. So that was courtesy.
How's that saving Justin? That's like throwing him into a river and handing him a bunch of rocks and say, "Here, this will help you."
Well, you got to admit, Mad Max was better than the original Road Warrior.
Or the other way around, you mean?
Or Road Warrior's better than Mad Max, yeah.
Mad
Max was his pick, and I was like, if you're going to throw that one out there, you have to watch the better one.
Rash, ingrown toenail, and...
Oh, jeez. We see what's on Joe's mind. All right, well, Been There, Watch That. We'll be back next week with this same crew.
Yeah.
What a crew. With more exciting movies. So thanks for joining us, everybody. For myself, Justin, and Joe. We'll see you next week. More good stuff to watch.